What is the lowest that you've ever tested?
This is the lowest that I've ever actually tested.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, I'm Doug Cameron, and we're here on our Sunshine Project in Austin, Texas, and today is a very exciting day for us. We just did some energy testing using a blower door test on this home, and we actually were able to get down below 1 air changes per hour, so we were actually able to get down to 0.8. We got a passive house standard that is 0.6. And so, I mean, we nearly hit the passive house standard. The way we did that was we did a bunch of sealing using some FluidApplied, a FluidApplied product from Tyvek. And we hit all our fastener holes, we connected to our foundation here. Here's our sheathing board. And as you see, we didn't even have to cover the whole wall. We just covered all the seams. And it's just super cool. Sean is the guy who did our testing. This is Sean with Positive Energy. They're a really awesome company here in Austin, Texas that does energy testing as well as energy modeling and a lot of really cool HVAC technical work and suggestions for builders like me and designers and architects out there. So anyhow, Sean, I think you were telling me today this is the tightest house you've ever tested. Is that correct?
Yes, this is the tightest house I've tested. It's great.
And you see the big smile on my face. I mean, as we were doing this whole process, I was hoping for the best, but you really never know until you actually quantify something with a metric scientifically, and that's exactly what we've done here. So totally proved what we were going for, that we could do a very, very tight house, get a super great air barrier without going and spending just an exorbitant amount of money. So you see kind of how this all looks here. This gives you an idea of what we started. Now take a look at how it looks with all the makeup on, all the pretty stuff. So as you can see, we were able to really achieve aesthetic beauty on this house. We got, right here's a mailbox and some stuff like that. It's not all finished up yet, but we got the no trim on the windows, got a really cool, clean, linear look. The house is this modern farmhouse style with no overhangs, so it's the type of house that really needs a very efficient envelope because we don't have the ability for the overhangs to really help us out so much. Yeah, get a view of the lack of overhangs up there. And basically we're using technology to be able to work within the constraints of architecture like this and still make it super efficient. So Sean, why don't you kind of explain what you did with the blower door test, how it works and stuff like that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. So I put a frame in this door and sealed this door off, and I sealed off all the other doors in the house, and I put a fan in this frame with some canvas over it, so everything is sealed except for the opening of the fan. I then put a tube outside, and I was able to measure the pressure outside the house versus inside the house when I'm sucking the air out of the house through this fan. And the measured opening on the fan tells me how much air I'm actually moving through there. So we can quantify the number of CFM, the number of cubic feet per minute that the air is coming out of the house. So we depressurized the house to 50 pascals, and then we look at the airflow. So 50 pascals is sort of the standard in the industry, and then we look at how much airflow is actually coming out at that pressure. And from there we can then go, okay, there's 283 CFM of leakage in this house, which is a really, really small amount. Typically on a house like this, I would see somewhere around 1,200 CFM of leakage. So it's an amazingly tight house.
Right, absolutely. So here's kind of a little bit of what went into the thought process of what we were doing here. We, back in the past, we would use spray foam to hit all of our walls and under our roof decking, and we would use like a traditional Tyvek product, and we wouldn't necessarily tape everything at the bottom like to the foundation in this exact regard. And I want to say our typical test score on something like this was maybe in the threes or 2 air changes per hour, something like that. That's still super good, very efficient and everything. But in this instance, we kind of went out of the box. We tried something new. We wanted to be at the forefront of this movement of energy efficient building and design, and we were really going for something that would allow us to do it on a reasonable budget, and that's what we achieved. So I mean, we straight up just put the wall sheathing on, and then we just sealed all these seams, and then we were real good to goop with our Tyvek FluidApplied around all our penetrations, as I showed, and connect to the slab, and we actually blocked all the way up to the roof. This house, being that it is, almost a big box, it's a cool looking box, but a big box, it was pretty easy to achieve that without a bunch of headaches. So, you know, really excited about it. And now, the other thing about this is typically this sort of test is done after installation, correct?
Correct.
So this is the first time I've ever been a part of this or really heard about it, where we've tested in this manner without any of the insulation, which is exactly what we've done now. So we're going to put insulation in here today. We're going to start putting it, but we literally have no insulation in this house, and this house is the tightest house Sean has ever tested.
Right,
so
we're back in our
Sunshine Project with Sean from Positive Energy, and again, this is the tightest house he's ever tested. Take a look around with the camera, and I want you to see something really neat on the walls here. It is zero insulation. So we just tested this house with a blower door test, and we have absolutely zero insulation in the whole house, and we just had the best score that he's ever recorded, a 0.8 air changes per hour. So we are just ecstatic. We feel like our system has worked, and we feel like we've been a really good example for other builders out there of a good process to take to achieve a very energy efficient home.